FARTBOY. Ladies and gentlemen, we have FARTBOY here. Now, it is a beautiful chart. This here is when we told all of you on the show to buy it. And to the current price right now here today, you'd be looking at a 3,039% gain from its all-time high from when the time we told you to buy it. Not that anybody ever times a wick perfectly, let's be honest. You would be at about 5,500%. And I know some people that are in the group that even got in at better times. What we're going to do here is we're going to mark it up, have a quick look at it. But I'm also going to add some indicators because a lot of people have been asking, just a little bit about this. So we are on the 4 hour, just right off the bat. I'm seeing a nice, bullish flag pattern. We need to break out, come back, retest before we take off. Yes, we will have these levels here as support and resistance that we'll need to either hit, pull back, come out, and then retest those before we take off. Same thing here before we go. Obviously, this will occur down here because this is all future events.
It looks the same as before, doesn't it? It looks similar to the last consolidation it had, right?
Yeah, well, that's just it. It's just right here and right here is virtually the same, right? And because I'm doing this on Dex tools, unfortunately, I don't have all the tools that are saved and at my normal disposal. Do I have my quick date and time?
You just recently launched on Mexi as well, so there's not a lot of data on the Mexi chart, so you can't really do TR.
No, and that's why I'm using the Dex chart. That is right. We did just have this project release on Mexi, and it was kind of cursed for timing because it happened right as the Libra crash. So the big pump that people were excited to see was kind of thwarted by the Argentinian government. But that is crypto, ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. So I try to keep things fairly simple. I try to use a parallel channel, a trend line, and a horizontal line. And we're just going to leave those three tools now for it. And for trend line, I always like to use candle bodies because that's where the majority of the price action. Oh, right. I'm going to have to lock the tool. And what we can do is we can find major areas of support and resistance that lock didn't do shit. Because we know at major areas of support and resistance, probably where we're going to see them again. Right? So we know we're probably going to fight the 12, the 15, the 18, and we have definitely confirmed this 08 as support. It might dip a little bit down, but you never know. Right? So now we got some support and resistance in. And what we can do is we can add, screw that up, and I'm going to fix that right now. No? Do I want to go to Wix? I'm going to go to Wix for the parallel channel. So I have a different parallel channel in our chat for FARTBOY because I did it from the past and we can see how it's moving. But right now, this would be the parallel channel that we need to retest at this level and break out, and it's on its way. And we can see where we've been holding and where we've been resisting in these differences. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to take all these lines away. Hopefully they made sense. You've seen me how I added them with the star, so you have them on your little toolbar. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some indicators. And I'm going to show you some very basic indicators to start with to get going. So we just go to our indicators right here. And one of the very first indicators that I learned was Bollinger Bands. By a guy named Bollinger is his last name. He was a brilliant trader. And I'm going to change the settings on the Bollinger Bands because I don't like the default colors. The median, I'm going to make white, and I'm going to change it to dotted. The upper band, I'm just going to change it to gold. lower band, I'm going to change it to red, and I'm going to take off the labels just to clean up the price. Bollinger Bands is now set up. Now, this is a very, very simple tool that was one of the first I've ever used. And white dotted line in the middle, and then you have your other two upper and lower bands. And the concept is price action is always fighting to get to the median. So if it gets too far away, it's going to pull down. If it gets too far away on the downside, it's going to pull up. And what you'll see here is when you have a red candle out and a green candle in, red candle out and green candle in, red candle out, green candle in. And when I mean in, it's going out of the band and then back in, out of the band, back in, out of the band, back in. I mean, this one just kissed. It's kind of weak, but out of the band, back in, just kissed, out of the band, back in. These are all entries. The reverse at the tops are your exits. So if you wanted to trade on the Bollinger Band theory, you would have bought here. Probably would have went through some panic if you're a new trader. And it's telling you to buy again. So you would have dollar costed entered your position. Let's just say you got the average buy in between and you sold there. There's your 624%. If you did it here, let's say you got a shit entry because you waited. And then you got a kind of a shittier exit because you were flying on hopium and maybe got down there, 18%. Maybe you timed this one pretty damn good, 40%. So Bollinger Bands is a tool to help you with entry and exit and price direction. Because when it's too close to the top of the band, it's telling you it wants to fight back to the median. And when it's too low in the band, it's telling you it wants to fight back to the median. But no one indicator is perfect. You know, you can see we didn't quite break there. We didn't quite break there. We didn't quite get an entry there. It's slightly off. So I use multiple. Let's add the next one. The next one is an EMA cross, what I always refer to as the micro bear and the micro bull. And I'm going to turn off the Bollinger Bands for now so we can just look at each one of these independently. Now I'm going to change the settings. You can leave the colors if you like. I like just switching it up a bit.
The Bollinger Bands can also be used for exiting as well. You know, for example, if you want to exit the cycle of the crypto, you can also use the Bollinger Bands on the daily, on the weekly time frame.
Oh, absolutely.
It was so useful. I personally like to use it like that as well.
I'm going to make the lines a little thicker on this just for ease of use for people to see the screen. And then I'm going to make the crosses white. I'm going to take off the labels just to clean up my price scale. And I'm going to click OK. So we know nothing moves up in a straight line and nothing moves down in a straight line. It's actually very healthy to go up, down, up, down, up, down, because if it goes straight up, it's coming straight down. All right. So what we have here, is when we get these crosses, now you can see how it's hiding behind the candle. If you select the actual indicator, right click, bring to front on your visual order. So now we can see, and I call these bullish and bearish crosses. And it's indicating to you that we're leaving a bullish trend. Well, here was a bearish trend. We can see the price went down. Here's our bearish cross right there. Price goes down. Here's our bullish cross because we're leaving the bearish trend and we're going into a bullish trend. And man, did we ever. Now, when the lines are separate, the further these lines are spread apart, the more price action you're going to see, right? So you can see how we were just cranking it here. It's too bad I can't wait till we have a lot of data on TradingView and I can show you way more cool stuff. But the further they're apart, and we can see that they're still pointing up. These lines are going straight up, right? It means price is still going up, and the further they are apart, the more volatile that action is going to be. So this here, when we're in here, none of this price history is here. Just on this one indicator alone, I know price is still going to rocket up because these bands are telling me, holy shit, we're moving to the upside. As soon as they start to curl, they're indicating we might come up to a bearish cross, right? Here, we got a nice flag. It didn't go into a bearish cross, cranked up. Here, we got the cross, right? So it's now telling us we're going into a bearish momentum. Remember, this is 4 hour, right? So what I tend to look for are these peaks in a bullish. When it's bullish, if it's peaking, that's typically when I'm in a trade, I get out. Doesn't mean it's not going to crank again, as we can see it did here, right? But I would rather get out of a position here than get out of a position here and wait for this cross. But that's the risk you take. And this is just one indicator. We just talked about Bollinger Bands. We can look and see now we have confluence. We're at the top of the band, right? So it's even saying we're probably going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the opposite is true. Once we're in a short-term bear market, the same thing, though. If we had massive spread pointing straight down, we're going to have volatility and price action, right? Volatility and price action. But as soon as they start to curl, this is a prime example right here. What's it showing us? It's showing us that this band is going to come up.
Mm-hmm.
This band's going to come up. And we're going to get that bullish cross. And then we're going to have price action continue. And where is it going to go? Just like we drew those levels of support and resistance before with the blue lines, the horizontal lines that gave us the price. Right? So no one indicator is perfect. They're not going to work all the time. And when we start to combine a few, they give you more confluence to what's happening. We're seeing the belly of the bear here. We're seeing an entry on Bollinger. It's telling us price is moving to the upside. Let's add one more indicator so we can get more confluence. Stochastic RSI. Very simple. When stochastic RSI is cranking at the top, typically a sell indication. Now, when it crossed here. Was it the best timing for the top to sell? No. It came a couple candles later. But you're never going to time the top. You're never going to time the bottoms perfectly. It crossed down below here. Was this the best entry? No. But we know this isn't the best entry right here because of two other indicators. We just got the bearish cross saying we're going to have